Hello guys, my name is Raphael, I'm son CH203, and today I'm going to talk to you a little bit more about myself and my past year in the US. So before arriving to the US, I was doing the Parcours US in Paris, and there I applied for like 9 universities, so you can imagine a lot of work. And I've been admitted to 6 of them, if I remember well, and from that I chose Columbia universities with a master in management science and engineering, which is basically like half with engineering school and the other half with business school. So very interesting. We're gonna come back on that later. And so then after I had to prepare my trip to the US, so get a loan, get a visa, get an housing. So yeah, a lot of preparation too on that side. And then I finally been able to get to the US in August, mid-August 25, I guess, something like that. And I already been to New York City, so I already know a bit the city. But amazing city, a lot of pleasure to rediscover it again. I'm not the person that go out a lot, but still very fun, and you can really enjoy your time there in New York. Uh, a nice welcome, I would say, from university. A lot of events through the month of August, and then the start of classes in September. First semester, you only choose one class, so other class you don't really have a choice. It's like consulting, probability, optimization. Optimization was really nice and new, but consulting not that fun, and probability only stuff we already studied in prepa. And I had to choose one class. I chose something in deep learning applied to finance. So very challenging class, especially when you never studied deep learning before, but very interesting, and like doing the link um, with finance was very cool. I worked for BlackRock, if some of you know, and our objective, because it was like just a project class, this is the kind of stuff there are a lot here. You have like typical classes class with SIM and all that stuff, and other classes that are more like project based and you're working with a company directly. So it can be interesting depending on the project. It's really random. You can end on projects that are really boring, but you can get really interesting projects that are very useful in your career. So yeah, I did that, and my objective was like to predict with my team the S&P 500 stocks. So really challenging, but yeah, really cool, especially when you get good results at the end. So this is my first semester. Starting August, I also begin to look for an internship for next summer, because you should begin as soon as you can to look for an internship if you want to do one in the US or even outside of the US. Second semester, I did like classes in business school, Columbia Business School. So cool. It was very cool. I studied a lot of finance, strategy, negotiation, all that stuff you can study in a business school. But it was really interesting because I never studied that before, and I found it very complementary to what an engineer could do, like in industry or even outside of industry. So yeah, very helpful. I think I'm not going to be a businessman later, but I think you should definitely study that for one semester. It really helps you in your career, whatever you're doing. And I already also been a CA, so a course assistant, on a class was like portfolio computational management, something terrible like prepa mathematics. Something I had to correct people on stuff I already wasn't able to do in prepa. So you can imagine like crazy stuff. I was even like correcting someone from Polytechnic. So yeah. I didn't talk to you yet about housing. So I arrived in August in a temporary apartment. I spent just half of the month on, and then I switched to what was supposed to be my apartment through my master. But it changed because it was not a great experience at all. You know, you can always end with people that are not really clean or respectful. So I had to change my housing, and so I did in like January, something like that, February. So when I came back after the winter break, and so much better now, but really hard to find. Like I did like 80 application, only 10 to like yeah 20 answers, and on that only like I would say 10 visits, a little bit less than 10 visits, and on the 10 visits I actually only been able to visit like 4 of them. So you can imagine how complicated this is to do that in parallel of everything else you're doing here. And yeah, and so I finally found an internship at the end of my second semester. So I started in August and I only found one in May, beginning of May. And guess what? My internship began in like mid-May, so only like 2 weeks after I know it. So you have to find an housing. You have to like reorganize all yourself. Especially because I planned to come back in France to do another internship, so I have to decline the other one, decline another one that I get in the US, but was not interesting at all. And so yeah, now I'm in Miami for 1 month now. I'm a data scientist in a company that's named Pelico, something about like a software to help supply chain, something like that. It's very interesting. So my year in the US, I would say to conclude, I learned so much. A very nice experience. You're not learning only academical stuff. You are, but you could do the same, I would say, in France. But what you get more here than anywhere else, it's like the spirit. US people have a particular spirit that is nowhere else in the world. They're smiling. They are like businessmen, and everything is about that. It can be crazy. Some people can dislike it, and I totally understand that. But if you think a little bit about it, it's just crazy how they're doing, how everything is done here, and I like that. It's very special, and I think you can learn a lot from that, from the people, from how the work is here. Even if it's complicated, you don't have security. It's very different from France, but you can get so much of that, and I think this is very important. You should not only focus on like classes, but what everything is around it. And yeah, I think this is it. I talked for a long time, a few minutes. So do not hesitate to reach out to me if you have any question on anything. It will be a pleasure for me to answer your questions. Have a good day. Bye.